Okay. We're back. We're back. Did you get a sip of water or something? Or repeat the Uttanasana one more time with the rolled up yoga mat. I'm gonna move on a bit now. Thank you, Andrea, for posting that the live video has stopped. Oh, this is not a forte of mine. So we're gonna come to a baby warrior one. Left foot forward, right foot back. I'm gonna move back a bit. Let me know if the voice is still good. And then stretch your arms to the sky. Now remember from earlier what we did with reaching out, then stretching up and arcing over. So get a real sense of just lifting and stretching that front right groin here, the belly, the chest. I don't necessarily want you to stay completely quiet in the pose. You can also stretch the front leg a few times and then bend it again. You can go slightly back or deeper to the side. Remember, the purpose of the pose is to make the energy move and to cause circulation, to help stretch into the Achilles tendon and the back leg a bit, to help dissolve and move the cohesive, heavy, nourishing, cold energy of the body. Good. And then as you bring the fingertips to the front, I just want you to lift the back leg and then lower that down again. Let's do that a few times. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. One last time. Lift and lower. It can shift a little further back if you feel like that. And then up one more time. Warrior one. Breathing. Stretching out. Grabbing, pushing up and out. And then over. Very good. And then exhaling down. Step forward. Uttanasana. Inhale up to standing. Exhale, hands together. Good. Pause and breathe there for a moment. We'll do the other side shortly. Okay. So then the other side, step hip distance, left foot back. Foot is turned a little forward, feet stay hip distance, bend the front knee, and then start by moving the shoulders, the sides, the chest, the spine, the arms and shoulders here, and stretch up. Reaching out, grabbing, reaching out, and then reaching out, push up, and side bend to the right. And breathing. Remember, the purpose of the pose is to clear and move the energy. You can stretch the front leg, you can bend it a few times. Okay, and then back to center. Now do fingertips on the ground and we do a lift and we lower down. Just tap the ground. Lift and lower down. Tap, lift and lower down. Good. Lift, lower and slide even further back if that's comfortable. And then lifting up and kind of like a dramatic warrior one On this side, move that side of the spine and that shoulder, and then side stretch, or even go back a bit. Oh, there's definitely some heavy, nourishing energy that I need to move. Good. Exhale forward. Step forward. Uttanasana. Grab your arms opposite and bend. Hands on hips, grounding down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. Next pose is Vrikshasana, tree pose. So there are some versions here. I just want to show a tree pose for those of you who struggle a little bit with balance. So I bring a chair in, I step a foot up and out, and basically bring the foot on the chair and then wiggle the standing leg a little further in. And then you could even drop the foot on that back seat there. Just remember, it's not completely relaxed. Hold and lift your pelvis. Stretch to the sky. And remember what we did. Lifting, moving the spine. Spine has curves that makes it longer and elastical. And then reaching, press down with this foot. That'll manage how much you press in there. And then shoulders moving and arms reaching up. And tree pose is a gorgeous pose. Take a moment of just kind of expressing that pose in however way you want to. Nice. Okay. And then bend the standing leg. Power down through the standing leg. Push the energy down. Pour everything into the standing leg. And then boom, stretch it out. Push the left arm out to the side. Lift the left side and then exhale and arc over to the right. Okay, I'm making a lot of noises with my tree pose. And see if I can take the elbow, not down, but on the outside of the knee. Okay, my fat hair is beginning to get in the way, but like, fuck it. Inhale, back up. Exhale, release. Okay, step to the front. So as far as I know, I mean also since I just did this and invented it for this class, I've never really seen anyone use a chair for tree pose like that. So I love crediting people if I get inspired and see things, but I also really enjoy letting yoga be invented through me, through my practice, through my tests and trials. And I love enriching the community or practices with versions of poses that helps us get to know the pose even better. I feel that every time we do versions or new things, and we just get to know the pose from a different angle or different perspective. How did you guys at home find chair tree pose? Ooh, I still feel that on my body. I actually decided to squeeze this way. I feel that. Okay. We have one more. I was thinking of putting them together. If you're using a chair, turn to the chair and you can do this on a window also. Put the leg up. Embrace the hands on the back. If you're standing freestanding, just do that. Squeeze down, lift up, standing leg strong. Inhaling here a few moments. Good. And if you are standing balancing, good for you. If you're on the chair, good for you. Bow forward and see if you can do a little bit of a standing forward fold. Okay, inhale back up, help the leg out and shake that out. Whew, I'm not sure I love that pose, but it's in the sequence, so I'll do it. There was a purpose to that with some of the other stretching we've done, some of the other moving of energy that we've done. Flip the chair to the other side. Okay. Stand pretty close. Good. Pick up the leg and turn it out. Tiptoe the foot as close as you can, and then wiggle the foot in closer. Rest the foot on the seat of the chair there, and then Tadasana, so it's not passive. Lift your hips, feel your Tadasana, and breathe. And then arms up, and we move the spine, the chest, and the shoulders first. So push up and wide, and then hold on, push up and to the right, push more to the right, and then push up and over, and begin to create. Remember, the spine has curves that helps the spine get longer. Whew. Breathing. I totally understand if you feel that this is not a classical gentle hatha pose, but get as much support as you can from the foot, the chair, and the standing leg, and then create a lighter, more beautiful expression. Use the breath to help clear or move circulation, dissolving energy. Nice. And then bend the standing leg and just push your energy down through the standing leg. This, by the way, is very much from, the Katha, the classical Indian dance. This is Shiva's, one of the postures of Shiva. So push down through the standing leg and then boom, go up and go sideways. Maybe let the elbow drop, support the side, woof. And inhale back up. Exhale, step it out. What did I plan after that? Oh, the horrible one. Standing, turn to the front, steady the hips, left leg up, breathing. Hug the thigh bone into the socket. Grab on the back, push down, lift up your chest, squeeze the leg down, and then exhale, standing one-legged, Paschimottanasana. I'm not talking a lot in this pose because this is challenging me. Good. Back up. Go to a window and do that if you have that at home. I do that sometimes and that actually feels a little bit better. Okay, shake that out. Put the chair to the side and clear the yoga mat. Step your feet wide apart. Move into the chest, shoulder region first. Curve the spine so it feels elastical and elongated. And then exhale, fold forward, fingertips on the ground. Work the spine first, lengthening, moving. circulation, dissolving, blocking energy. Good. And then once you feel comfortable doing so, take it a little bit more in. Fingertips maybe touching, bowing. I'm going to come out of the pose and just think of this also as really the accumulation or the coming together of, you know, the poses, the legs, the squeezing, the movement of the dense, nourishing, cohesive, cold, damp energy up the legs, the movement of the spine and the shoulders first before we went into the legs. And then hands on hips, inhale, rise up to standing, and step the legs back in, Tadasana. One more standing pose, step the feet wide apart. Turn the right foot out to the side and bend your right knee. And neither forward or towards the leg, but somewhere halfway in between. Turn your pelvis and then bow. And then walk the hands a little further out ahead. Humble warrior. If you want to do an interlaced fingers behind the back, you can do that. And then walk the right arm to the right thigh, left arm up. And start by stretching the left arm up and lifting the shoulder. Then exhale, stretching it overhead. Inhale, lift up to center, hands on hips. Turn the foot forward, turn the other foot out. Neither forward or turned entirely to the leg. Turn halfway that way, back leg strong, and then bend into the front leg. And then from the hips, bow your body down and walk your arms out ahead. Humble warrior. And then feel the ground and hug the legs a bit towards each other to support the left arm on left thigh, right arm up, reaching up first. Move the shoulder and the rib cage into freedom, and then exhale, take it over and bend a little deeper into the front leg. Inhale back to center, hands on hips again. Turn the feet facing forward. And one more time, move the spine first, shoulders, bow to horizontal. Before you take it into the hamstrings, keep the legs bent. Just kind of move the upper body first and bow, and then stretch out the legs. And then as you exhale, bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, rise up. And step the feet in. Good. I'm going to unroll a yoga mat so I can be a little bit more forward front to you guys. And I'm also keeping a pillow close by, because we'll do a little bit of some deep hamstring and hip work. How do you feel at home? I'm gonna have a sip of water before this. I'm still kind of feeling the tree pose. Water tastes nice when you're thirsty. Lots of you guys joining at home, very cool. Okay, so this is baby Hanuman. And into atomic pigeon. Woohoo! Crazy. So you're gonna take the right leg back, the left heel forward, and the leg can come a little to the side. Your hands on fingertips or on blocks, what you can use at home. And we kind of bow a little to the front leg. So inhale up and exhale and bow. Didn't really feel that amazing. So we'll just stay. Okay. Good. Now, listen to this, or look at this. So in the midline of the yoga mat here, I'm gonna put my right hand out to the side. I'm gonna walk my left foot into the middle of the yoga mat. I'm gonna stay strong in my ankle, but I'm gonna open the knee out. I'm actually gonna lean forward so my heart is on top of the foot. I'm gonna stay strong on the little toe edge of the foot. I'm gonna keep my heart above the leg. Then I'm gonna take my right foot behind me. My arms are going like a plank. And I'm gonna lift and I'm gonna wiggle the leg back. Feel free to do a classical pigeon pose if you don't wanna do this. I'm gonna press the foot down, the hands down, the head down, and lift the hips up. So I'm lifting, rather than dropping the back thigh, I'm pressing my head down, my hands down, my back foot down, and I'm lifting the top of the back thigh bone up. I'm lowering to the right, wiggling out of that. I'm doing all fours and just breathing, very good. I'm gonna walk to the left. I'm gonna stick my right heel forward. I'm gonna walk back in for a baby Hanuman. Feel free to create versions of baby Hanuman or Hanuman at home. And also feel the sequencing, how everything is like coming together and how it's influencing each other. Good. I'm gonna step to the left. I'm gonna walk my right foot in to the middle of the yoga mat. So I'm on yoga mat. I'm gonna keep the ankle muscles very strong with my outer shin muscles, and I'm gonna let the knee open out. I put my hands down. I put my heart above my foot, and then I wiggle and walk the back leg back. Rather than dropping the thigh bone, I press my hands down. I press the foot down, I press the back foot down, and I lift my hips up. And as I keep my back thigh bone lifted, I bow my head down and lower the back leg, tilt to the left, wiggle the right foot out, and come to all fours. you're gonna do some form of malasana. You could be sitting up against the wall or with a sofa behind you. Can be with heels lifted. More like a form of a goddess pose, maybe almost. Or you can see if you can get the feet a little wider, but turned more forward, and then lower the heels down. As soon as you feel more comfortable getting the feet closer in, but turned forward, see if you can work that. Now in this pose, it's kind of like all about letting the weight of the thigh bone sit down into the socket. So here the knees are up and the hips are low. And that's when the weight can really drop into the socket. Okay. And then inhale. To me it seems like it's pausing. I don't know what about you guys. Well, at least from Malasana, we're going to shift to Baddha Konasana. Okay, so people are writing me that it's going on. Very cool. So, from Malasana, you're going to sit down, place the feet together. And from the previous pose, remember the knees moving up. And as the knees move up, it's like you can sit deeper into the hips. So try actually moving the knees up to get a sense of sitting deeper. Good. And then once you feel that the thigh bones are really deep in the socket, almost like this is sitting down more heavy, then rather than pressing the legs down, kind of let them move out. And then you can do some forward folding. Or just stay up here and then letting the inner groin drop. Thank you, Khan. Khan says everything is fine. I don't know. On my computer it said that it was paused. So think about Malasana, the squatting, helping clarify something about Baddha Konasana. I see Baddha Konasana taught a lot about getting the knees down, and that's focusing too much on the knees, which is a hinge joint, which isn't really the joint where anything is happening in this pose. So keeping the knees up so you can really drop the weight into the pelvis. And then once that is down, then the knees can release as a matter of what happens in here, and you can bow. Good. And then inhale back up. Perfect. We do quite a lot of seated poses, so I hope you enjoy it. Stick the left leg out to the side. Draw the right heel into the bottom of the body. And then remember what we've done earlier. We tend to kind of push into the tightness of the legs first, and then see what the spine can do after. But I want us to kind of move the spine, the side body first, and then leaning and see what the leg and the hip can bring. So left arm on the inside, right arm overhead. And hopefully the different stretches, the different tree poses helping you here. Breathe in a way that brings movement, circulation, dries up wet, damp, cold or slimy areas. And inhale back up. Sit for a moment. So also again, for those of you who arrived recently, I began the class by talking a bit about the etymology, the origin of words for the phrase or the greeting namaste. And the verb nam means to bend, to turn towards, to yield or give way, to keep quiet, as in withdrawing, and to subject oneself, to be a subject, to humble oneself or to bow. So also when I was in this pose, I really felt the quality of namas or namati. I bow, I humble myself, I bend. But then the turning, turn towards the leg. Maybe sit a bit more upright. And then bowing over the leg. Keep the breath moving in such a way that it helps clear the hatha. And keep contemplating the meaning of the word nam or namati, the verb namati, or the one that, or in conjunction with te, to you or for you, namaste. I bow, I humble, I keep quiet, I turn, I bend. Inhale back up to center. And bring the foot back in again. Another round of Baddha Konasana. This time no hands, just squeeze the feet together. I'm putting quite a lot of pressure on my feet. Lifting the knees up, squeezing the feet together, lifting the knees up. Really drop the inner groin. Push the sitting bones back. And then before you take it into the legs, move the spine. Lift and bow. And then take it into the legs by releasing them out. And then bow, bow, bow in. And back up. As far as I know, on the back here is bladder meridian, so that's really good also to move some of the damp, wet qualities maybe. Lift at the base, right out to the side. Before we take it into the legs, move the spine, the shoulders, the neck, and just side bend a bit here. The previous poses will come to your aid in the way that they both educate your body and you, but also that they prepare and marinate you for this. If you can keep practicing with this many seated poses, you're kind of a hero, so don't be alarmed. There will be gentle poses later. It's quite a class I planned for tonight though, now that I look at it. Good. Inhale back up. And And then the aspect of namaste, which is turning towards, turn towards the leg and bow. Take it into what the spine and the shoulders can do first, and then the bending, relying or stretching the back of the leg and releasing the back hip there. Inhale back up to seated. Perfect. Now you're going to extend both legs out to the side. It's called Upavista Konasana. We'll do it a little bit dynamic here. So heels down, calf muscles down, sitting bones down, and then kind of you can cross the hands. Inhale, and as you exhale, bow a bit. Good. Inhale, exhale, kind of like elbows bow over each side of the leg there. And a little side to side. If this is a clock, you can also go halfway out there, halfway in front, halfway out, halfway there, halfway in front, halfway out. Okay, just finding the strength to squeeze the legs down and move the body. And then we're going to reach over to the right leg again. Grounding the left side down. Moving back up, other side. So I have most of my tightness on the right hip. I'm not really that tight though, but like so, don't worry. Not that you were worrying, but like, I just sometimes feel a little weird saying that I'm tight because the poses I do don't seem that tight. But for my body, most of the tightness here on my right hip, it holds on, so when I bow, when I turn, that's being lifted up. So I slack a little bit out, and then I have to find what muscles can ground me down so that something is pushing down as something else is lifting and turning. And back to center. Perfect. Extend the legs out in front. Hip distance between the legs. And just come from above. You can place your hands here and kind of pause and breathe there. Or hands on top. Pause and breathe. Good. Now feel the legs squeezing down, heels squeezing down. And then lifting your body. Remember moving the spine, the shoulders first. And then take it into influencing the legs quite a lot by exhaling and bowing. And just keep Paschimottanasana for a moment, breathing, really bowing the head in to influence those, along the neck and down the spine. Inhale back up to seated. Just extend the legs out and lie down on the back. And as you lie down on the back, I'll just refresh the idea, if you're new also to the class, lying down. Just think of this nourishing, strengthening. It's an energy of growth. It builds, the inner warehouses. It's a tissue building energy. It's an insulating energy. It's a robust energy. It's cold and damp, so that it matches the energy outside, so that we don't get as cold exposed in winter, if our energy is cold and damp too, so the inner and outer environment are more alike, which means that the extremes of exposure doesn't happen so much. So all of that winter energy, all of that syncing up with the winter qualities, when the sun becomes more powerful around mid-February, and then throughout March, and with the sunny days that we've had here, the spring sun hits the body and the energy field, and it begins to melt and move the kapha energy. And that kapha energy just flows out into the system. It's cohesive, solid, slimy, and damp. And if it's not moved out of the system, it can actually cause a quite heavy spring. That might be some of what you feel. It's not just the quarantine and the overall depressing news that we are getting almost every day. So breathe in a way. The opposite qualities is light, movement, circulation, sunny, drying out slightly, dissolving rather than sticking together. Through the breath, you dissolve the sticking energy. And just generally lift and move shit about. All this by just lying down and breathing in a way that seems to embody those qualities. And then bending your knees, feet on the ground. Arms down the sides of the body, and inhale, lift your hips off the ground, and exhale, lower them down again. Just do that a few times. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower the butt down. Inhale, lift the butt. Exhale, lower the butt down. One more. Inhale, lift. And exhale down. Once the butt is on the ground, just kind of move the arms out to the side. Lift your feet off the ground, but bend your knees at a 90-degree angle. And then take both your legs over to the right. And then put your right hand on top of your left knee. And breathe in a small twist. So we'll return that back up to center. Place the feet down again, feet pretty close to the bottom of the body, knees bent. And then one more time, lift the butt off the ground. Exhale and down. We'll do a little bit of dynamic here, and then we'll take some supported version. Inhale, lift. Exhale and down. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale and down. Inhale, lift. And exhale down. And then inhale, lift. Exhale, lower down. And then lift the feet up and then twist over to the left slowly. And put the left hand on top of right knee and turn the body to the right. Hey Pernille, you joined. It's towards the end of a long class. Remember, you can watch the class again. It will upload and stay under videos. If you go onto Hamza Facebook, find this and a lot of the other videos there. And I'll probably keep them there until the 10th of May. Inhale back up to center. And then we'll do a supported version. So for that, I just want you to grab a pillow. Could be a block if you have a block at home. Folded blanket. It's getting more quiet now, so if you watch and then lie down and do it, you lift the hips up and you see if you can maneuver some form of support under the hips and the pelvis. I think I'd like that to be a little higher, so I'm folding the pillow. And this is the part of the class that I don't know if this is working, kind of like many just locked in now and thought that this was a yoga class with Sohan, just Sohan lying down. Well, it is. So we'll do a few minutes of a supported Setu Bandha. And so it also gives time before you lie into that pose. If you have some question or comments, either for the breaking down of the word namaste, or something about kapha, something about the dense energy of winter being dissolved by the spring sun, and then how we can move that out, please take to your computer and write the question, and then I'll read it and talk a little bit about it while everyone is lying down, breathing. Remember the qualities of the breath as you lie down, that through the breath you create movement, circulation, you dry up slimy areas, you dissolve that which seems stuck. You bring a general sense of lightness, of sunshine, and of moving and shifting things. As we just do another minute or so of Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. Yanni, shout out to Yanni, one of the teachers here, Hamza. Yanni, are you watching? If you don't have the time to do the full class tonight, I just want to remind you all again that remember this is up online, you can just do it. I know that it might have been cut in two now because I had to do two of them, but I don't know. And then lift the hips up and sneak the pillow out to the right. Because then I want you to do the twist supported to the right. So bring the knees in. And this time bring the knees a little closer into the chest. And then move the knees over to the right side onto one or two pillows. As close in as you can and over onto the support. And then expanding the left side. It doesn't necessarily mean the left shoulder coming to the ground. It means everything that is felt on the left side of the body, that it expands and moves. That the left side of the body really feels the quality of the breath. First we did some dynamic Setu Bandha Sarvangasana up and down. We did a short twist side to side. And then we did a more supported Setu Bandha, pillow under the hips. And now we do some supported twist. So at least another minute or so. Remember, feel free to make some comments or questions or whatever. It makes it possible for me to have something to talk about during poses that is meaningful to you. I mean, it could be tempting to think that this class is here for me, but it's not. My practice is at another time. This is for you guys. And then bring the legs in, feet on the ground. Maneuver the pillow over to the left, the props over to the left. And then hug the knees in and move them over to the left side for a supported twist. Bring the knees in as close as you can, but not struggling. Just kind of like, okay, they come in like that and then over to the side. Just also remember that the previous poses will help you. You don't have to do all of this on your own. Let the tree pose help you. Let the squatting pose help you. The malasana, let the seated poses help you. It's not you or will or you wanting this to happen, but it's the practice and the poses that kind of helps the shift of tissues and the pose to appear. So Lena, really, really awesome question. She's asking, so once the more heavy, the qualities of hatha is like dense, heavy, stagnant, cohesive, cold, wet, slimy, but nourishing also. So one thing we need to remember about this energy also, that it's deeply appropriate for winter. It's actually aligning you much more with the outer environment. It makes you really fit for the Scandinavian winter. But it doesn't serve us anymore. So now that it's brought out, it's actually the sun or spring initially that melts it and brings it out to the system. So once now we moved it out, it has to have some pathways of leaving the body. Quite a lot of it is actually energetic. So that's why I focused on breathing. It's like shifting the mind from a heavy state to a lighter state. Shifting the way we breathe. Shifting some of our actions of wanting to go out more and to feel and breathe and be in the sun more. On a more physical level, some of the slimy mucuses, they're very much passed by the digestive system. So it could be things like making sure that the digestive fire is really working. Could be things like, remember to sip in the morning or throughout the day some ginger hot shots, or just generally some, a nice cooking food with some nice coriander seeds and coriander mints and fennels and just these things that help clear the system, cumin. Exercising is really good. Nothing vigorously or crazy, just something that really helps you shed the heavy feeling. There are more specific ways. I'm actually doing a little bit of some oil massages also, but I'm picking the oils that I'm doing very camphor and oils or massage oils that has essential oils in that increases circulation and stuff. And I'm also doing my massages quite vigorous. One thing I do is I take a spoon, one of the Chinese spoons. By the way, you can come out of the twist and kind of lie in the middle. One of the Chinese soup spoons, I put some oil on me, and I use it actually for scraping. I think it's called gua sha. This is really good at just moving, the kapha energy. Maybe we'll show this on Tuesday with Paddy's, she's an acupuncturist. Turn to the center. What you're going to do now is do 2 pillows. Lena, was that an answer? It's a pretty big theme though, but I hope there was a few things there. The pathways of elimination for the energy of kapha is definitely mental or through the breath. And more physically, it's through the digestive system, urinary tract, sweat glands, and the breath actually. So you're going to lie down on the back. And now remember what we've done. Again, the poses are helping us understand the yoga. So we're going to lie down with the feet together, knees up. We're going to place pillows under the knees. I'm not lying down yet because I'm talking to you guys. We're going to place pillows under the knees. And we're going to go up. This goes up. For this to go down deep, really settling into the hips. If you lie down and relax on the ground, this is a version of Supta Baddha Konasana. Lena, do you have any, do you use a particular pathway or way of cleaning it out? I was thinking about suggesting types of fasting and stuff, but at the same time I'm really cautious about that, because then, poof, next week I'll hear someone who's like, I only lived off sunshine and water for a week, and it is no way that's gonna clear out your kapha. It actually probably needs, some light, well-prepared foods that help draws it out, some herbs and a little bit of ghee. So a really thin, very watery khichdi or some soups, or could be like parts of the day fasting will help it, some herbs will help also. I think trifala, if you're familiar with that, is such a good way of doing, 1 or 2 weeks of taking 2 pills or taking some spoonfuls of that in a glass of hot water at night when you go to bed. Hit me up if there's some other great pathways of clearing out the kapha, because it doesn't serve us anymore. It served us throughout the winter. Relaxing in your Supta Baddha Konasana, the sense of knees staying high so that the groins can go deep, spine releasing, keeping its gentle curve so it can elongate and breathe, side body long and free, shoulders relaxing, neck relaxing. Reaching the hands down, helping the knees back up, roll to the side. The last one, you can either roll up a yoga mat. I'm just going to do it with a folded pillow. I think that'll be nice for me here. We're going to put a bit of some support on the back. So kind of like my upper back bending like that. If it makes my head float or neck feel uncomfortable, then either I can just put the hands there or some other folded towel or something. But just a few, maybe a minute or a minute and a half of a more classical upper back bend. Extending the legs out maybe, just breathe. I love that I get to lie on the side and watch my computer. It's almost like, it feels a little bit like I'm there with you. And then show slowly back out of that. Come to a seat. I might need to do this class myself tomorrow. I mean, I didn't do the poses with as much intention and depth as you probably did at home, but I still feel kind of quite shifted in my system. It's really nice. So creating a comfortable seat. Close your eyes, and in the beginning, allow for a bit of movement, like under the sea, even though that visualization is probably a bit too cold and damp and liquid for getting rid of the kapha sensation. So it could be also be the grass moving on the plains, or maybe something like a piece of fabric on a, hang to dry outside, just kind of moving. Close your eyes and just explore inhaling and exhaling soft moves. Curvature to the spine that helps the spine elongate energy down and up and out through the crown of the head. Hands resting on your thighs or in your lap. Eyes closed, and just really feel the breath inhaling and exhaling. For now, there's no need to change the breath. It is what it is. Just let it move naturally. And then very quiet, you can lie down on the back. I'll tell you a story from the yoga tradition. So, oh no, Andrea, you'll miss the story. So lie down. And you get comfortable for Shavasana. Find blankets and pillows and things. And settle in. If you just joined, you can sit instead. And even though this probably never happened, remember that sometimes the story, even though it's not true, is more truth. Or there's more truth to it than reality. This happened a long time ago in a forest in the south. There was an ant hill, a kingdom ruled by a queen ant. And she was wise and strong. One day, or she would do that every morning, she would walk onto the top of the hill and look over her kingdom and just see to the south, to the east and to the north. And just like, whoa, what a splendid kingdom I rule. But one morning, she looked up into a tall bela tree, like a jasmine tree, and she saw a falcon and an eagle talking. The falcon was Garuda, and he's a heavenly eagle flying everywhere. And he was telling the falcon about a really precious valley, a paradisic valley in the north, in the foothills of the Himalayas. A truly spectacular place. The rivers were made of milk and honey, and the trees bore fruit all year round, and it was really, the climate was mild. And the queen ant was like, oh my God, that sounds amazing, a paradise. The eagle and the falcon flew, and the queen went underground and gathered all her astrologers and, dietists and personal trainers and, otherwise people, her yoga teacher. She gathered them all and she was like, listen people, subjects, there's a place, a valley, we must go there, it's absolutely paradise. And some of them were like, but this place is already cool. He was like, no, we have to go there. But it's very far away and I don't really know the path. What do we do? She asked all her advisors. And they were used to advising her on not eating dairy and wheat and other things like that, but they were a little silent now. They were like, when it came to real life skills, they were like, ah. But then one of the worker ants stepped forward, because being in the forest every day foraging, he had noticed a pathway or a path through the forest where a giant lone matriarch of an elephant would walk every day to the river. And he suggested, how about we go there, climb into the trees, and when the matriarch elephant walked past, we asked her kindly to take us there. We can drop down on her and ask her. And immediately when they heard that, they went into a roar. The soldier ants, the army was like, yes, queen. We'll jump onto the elephant and subdue it and just tell it to take us to the valley now. And the queen was like, yes, that's a plan, let's do it. So the next morning they were all waiting in a tree, and the mother elephant came walking down the path. Because in all honesty, this was a plan that would have been a hot mess and ended in absolute tragedy, with everyone getting killed, as so many of my plans. But the mother elephant had actually been close by, and she had listened in on the meeting, on the gathering, on the council, and she heard everything, and she decided to walk down the path and let the ants jump her. So as she walked under the tree, the ants fell down and they grabbed hold on her ears and stop, elephant, we got you. And she stopped. And then the entire family of ants would crawl up on her back, and they would be like, let's go to the valley, and they would pull her, order her in different directions, and it was a hot mess. They really had no idea what they were doing. But the combination of the warmth of the midday and the rocking sensation of the elephant walking through the jungle made the ants very sleepy, and one by one they fell asleep. As soon as the last ant was asleep, the elephant mom noticed, and she started immediately staring north, and she walked quite powerfully, quite fast north. And as the sun would set behind the mountains, beautiful evening, so like some of the evenings we've had here in Denmark, the ants would wake up, and to their surprise, they would realize that they were in this paradisic valley. And the elephant would kneel down and let the ants walk down her leg and out into the grass. A few of them were like, how did this happen? By what miracle? But most of them were like, we made this happen, I made this. Some of them looked back at the elephant as it walked away into the forest, and they thought to themselves, what great benevolent force has taken me here in my life. What an honor. As you relax and breathe, or sit and breathe, you can think back to times in your life when, often things are co-created by you wanting it or you working towards something, but also this great motherly force moving into your life, picking you up and taking you places. Life is being co-created by you and the powers of grace. And just very Gently stretch and yawn and move a bit. And just turn to the side. Make your way up into seated. Feel the shift. And as I started the class by, deep diving into the meanings or uncovering, the ideas behind the phrase or the word namaste, place your palms together in front of your heart and take a moment. So some of the basic meanings of the root verb of nam is to bend material. I really like that. That's what we do with yoga. We bend the material. To turn towards something. To yield or give way. To keep quiet. To withdraw. To subject yourself. To humble yourself. And to bow. These are the base meanings of the root verb nam, which forms the basis for the namaste. In your own private way, thank yourself for having set aside some time to do yoga. Inhale, bring the hands to the forehead. Exhale, return them to your heart. And now we can really go namaste. Have a great evening at home. And do remember to support us with donation. The Hamza mobile number is 80105. And my PayPal, or Hamza's PayPal, is soham@hamzayoga.dk. That's also my own private email if you want to write me. If you have more questions about Ayurveda and hatha and spring and whatever, let's keep the conversation going. And if you want more Sanskrit, let me know and I'll do maybe just a session on that. I never really thought that there were anyone caring about that, so I loved that you asked questions. Thank you, bye.